are going to revise what we have studied for multi-degree of freedom systems. In the previous classes you have studied the free and force vibration of single degree of freedom system, 2 degrees of freedom system and systems with more than 2 degrees of freedom. In case of multi-degree of freedom systems, which are either 2 degrees of freedom system or a degrees of freedom higher than 2, we have studied different methods to find the equation motions and then to solve those equations motion to find the response of the system. So we have used Newton's method, we have used Lagrange principle or extended Hamilton principle to derive the equation motion, and also we have used the influence coefficient method to derive the equation motion. In case of influence coefficient method, so when we are taking displacement influence coefficient, we are getting the eigen frequencies which correspond to the higher mode frequencies, the lower eigen frequencies correspond to the higher eigen frequencies, and in case of stiffness matrix formulation we are getting the frequencies in the order of lower to higher. And we have also studied the modal analysis method, and we have studied the free and force vibration of multi degrees of freedom system. So today we are going to solve some problems considering this modal analysis method. Let us first take one example in which I have taken a spring mass damper system. So this is a spring and mass damper system. So this is mass 1 and this is mass 2, and they are connected by the spring. This is spring K1, this is spring K2, and this is M1, this is M2, and my aim is to find the principal coordinate system of this system. Here I am taking M1, let M1 equal to 1 kg, M2 equal to 2 kg, and then K1 equal to 100 Newton per meter and K2 equal to 50 Newton per meter. So by taking these physical parameters, let us derive this equation motion and let us find the principal coordinates of the system. So you know before, principal coordinates are those coordinates which will yield both mass matrix and stiffness matrix uncoupled. Let us first take this coordinate system, generalized coordinate system. This is x1 and this is x2. So the mass matrix you can write it equal to, mass matrix will be equal to 1 0 0 2. So this is the mass matrix M, which is equal to, already you know this mass matrix equal to M1 0 0 M2. So by substituting this value, so I can write this mass matrix equal to 1 0 0 2. To find this stiffness matrix I can use many different methods to find. So let me use this influence coefficient method to find this stiffness matrix. So in this case I can draw the free body diagram. So this is mass M1, this is mass M2. So to draw the free body diagram, when this mass M1 has a displacement of 1 and this has a displacement 0, so I can find this K11. So K11 is nothing but the force required to have unit displacement at 1 and 0 displacement at 2. So for this case I can find the free body diagram. So according to the free body diagram, so this is the mass M. So when it is moving a distance unity, the spring will exert a force of K1 in opposite direction. So this is K1 in opposite direction, and this side spring, the right side spring, that is K2 will be, so this is the spring K2. So when it is moving a unit direction this towards right, so and there is no displacement of x2, so the spring K2 will be compressed by an amount unity. So it will exert a force in opposite direction, that is in this direction, so which is K2. Similarly for this mass 2, as it is stationary or it has x2 equal to 0 for the time being, so this M2 will be subjected to a spring force K2 which is acting on it in this direction. So this is K2. So now for this case K11 will be the force required at 1 to have unit displacement at 1 and displacement 0 at this. So to have unit displacement at 1, so this mass is subjected to a force K1 plus K2. So one has to apply a force K1 plus K2 to have this displacement. So this is F1 or K11. So this is equal to K1 plus K2. Similarly, K21 displacement required at 2 to have unit displacement at 1, that is K21, and K12 is force required at 1 to have unit displacement at 2. K21 is force required at 2 to have unit displacement at 1. So already we have written that for unit displacement at 1 and 0 displacement at 2, this is the free body diagram. So from this free body diagram we have found that in this case the mass M2 is subjected to a force K2. So to have 0 displacement here, so it will be subjected to a force F2, or one has to apply a force F2 which is equal to K21. So this force is applied in opposite direction, so it will be equal to minus K2. So K21 equal to minus K2. Now K12, I can draw the free body diagram. So this is the free body diagram for this mass M1, this is mass M2. So in this case, as this mass M1 has 0 displacement and M2 has unit displacement, then the spring K1 spring will not be displaced, or K1 spring will be stationary, so it will not exert any force on mass 1. But the spring between M1 and M2, that is K2, will be pulled by an amount unity. So this mass M1 will be subjected to a force K2 towards right to keep it in the equilibrium position. So one has to apply a force, that is F1, that is equal to minus K2 to keep it in the equilibrium position. So K12 will be equal to, so K12 will be equal to minus K2. So this is equal to minus K2 and K12 will be equal to minus K2. Now K22, to determine K22, that is force required at 2 to have unit displacement at 2 and 0 displacement at 1. So you can find from this free body diagram that this mass M2 is subjected to a force K2 in opposite direction. So or to maintain this displacement, one has to apply a force that is equal to F2, which is equal to K2, and so K22 will be equal to K2. So the stiffness matrix by this method you can write it equal to, so the stiffness matrix will be equal to K1 plus K2, K1 plus K2 minus K2 and minus K2 K2. So this will be equal to 150 and this is equal to minus 50 minus 50 and K2 equal to 50. So I can write the equation motion in this form. So the equation motion becomes 1 0 0 2 1 0 0 2 into x1 double dot x2 double dot plus 150 minus 50 minus 50, this is 50 and this is x1 x2 equal to 0 0. So in this case you can observe that the system is dynamically uncoupled but statically coupled. So this is static coupling of the system. So as it is statically coupled, these x1 x2 are not the principal coordinate. So we have to find the coordinate y, so that this both mass matrix and stiffness matrix will be uncoupled. To find that thing, we should find the normal modes, and we can find from the normal mode we can find the modal matrix, and using that modal matrix we can find this principal coordinates. So to find this normal mode, so we can assume the solution x to be in the form of x sin omega t. So I can write this modal matrix. So already you know I can write this A matrix equal to M inverse K. I can find this M inverse K. So M inverse K will be equal to 150 minus 50, this is minus 25 and 25. and you know that the eigenvalue of A will give the normal mode frequency and eigenvector of A will give the modal matrix of the system. So, to find these things, these eigenmodes and eigenvectors, so you can find A minus lambda I, determinant of A minus lambda I equal to 0. You can make determinant of A minus lambda I equal to 0, which will give you 150 minus lambda minus 50 minus 25, 25 minus lambda. So, determinant of this equal to 0, or 150 minus lambda into 25 minus lambda minus to minus plus. So, minus 50 into 25 equal to 0, or from this you can find this is 150 into 25, or 150 into 25 plus lambda square minus 175 lambda minus 50 into 25, this is equal to 0, or your equation is reduced to lambda square minus 175 lambda plus, so 100 minus 50, 150 minus 50, 100. So, this is 2500 equal to 0, or lambda will be equal to minus b. So, minus minus plus 175 minus b root over minus b square minus 4ac by 2a minus 4a equal to 1 and c equal to 2500 by 2. So, if you calculate this, so you will get two values of lambda. So, these values becomes, so the first value becomes 15 point, so it becomes 15.6930 and lambda 2 becomes, so lambda 2 equal to 159.30. So, these are the eigen frequencies of the system, and these correspond to the square of the natural frequency or normal mode frequency of the system. So, lambda 1 equal to omega 1 square and lambda 2 equal to omega 2 square, and from this you can find omega 1 equal to and omega 2, these two values you can find. Omega 1 will becomes equal to 3 point, so this becomes 3.9637 and this becomes 12.6214. So, these are the natural frequencies or normal mode frequencies of the system. So, omega 1 correspond to the first mode frequency and omega 2 correspond to the second mode frequencies. Now, to find the modal matrix, one has to find this eigenvector of the system. To find this eigenvector, already you know that you can find directly, you can find by finding the eigenvectors of the system, or you can find this thing from this expression x equal to adjoint A minus lambda I. So, by finding the adjoint of A minus lambda I, you can find this modal matrix or normal modes of the system, or directly you can find this thing by finding the eigenvectors of the system. So, now let us find in this way by finding the adjoint of A minus lambda I. Already you know A minus lambda I. So, adjoint of A minus lambda I equal to, so I can write this as A, already you know it is equal to, so this is adjoint of 150 minus lambda, this is minus 50, this is minus 25 and 25 minus lambda. So, the transpose of that will give, it is equal to 25 minus lambda, and this is 25 and 50, 1 minus 50 minus lambda. So, x you can obtain at lambda equal to lambda 1 by substituting lambda equal to lambda 1, which is equal to 15.6929. So, you can find the first mode frequency. So, you just note that either you take this column or this column, first column or second column, the normalized value will be same. So, now to verify that thing, now you substitute lambda equal to lambda 1. So, you can find that first column becomes, so 25 minus 15.6929. So, 25 minus 15.6929, this is 25 and this is 50 by 150 minus 15.6929. So, if you calculate, so this becomes 9.3071, this is 25, and this is 50, 134.3071. So you can find that the normalized value of both the columns are same. Let me write this A2, so this, let me make this displacement unity, so this will becomes, so if I will make it unity, so I will divide 9.3071 by 25, so that will becomes 0.3723, and in this column also I can make this column equal to this element equal to unity, so I can divide this 50 by 134.3025 3071, so this becomes also 0.3723. So you can check that both the columns yield the same value. So in this case, without taking all the columns of this adjoint matrix, you can take only a single column of that adjoint matrix to find this modal participation or the normal modes of the system. So the normal mode x1, now it becomes 0.37231. Similarly, you can find x2. So x2 can be obtained by, so Ax at lambda equal to lambda 2, that is lambda equal to 159.3071 equal to adjoint A minus lambda I, and already you got adjoint A minus lambda I, that is equal to, so A minus lambda I adjoint equal to 25 minus lambda minus 50 minus 25 minus lambda. Now you substituting this value of 159.3071 for the second mode, you can find this x2. You can take any column of this. So let me take this first column, so 25 minus lambda, 25 minus 159.159, so this adjoint equal to, this is plus 25, this is plus 50, so 125 minus lambda becomes, taking this first column, it becomes minus 134.3071 by 20, this is 25. So by normalizing this thing, I can get this is equal to minus 5.3723 by 1. So you can obtain the second mode equal to minus 5.37231. Physically it means, so in this case, so in the spring mass damper system, so physically it means when the system, or when this mass m1 is moving with, or when the system is moving with the first mode frequency, that is lambda 1 equal to 15.6929, then when this mass m2 will move a unit distance, mass m1 will move a distance of so it will move a distance of 0.3723. So this is for first mode, and for the second mode, so they are moving in the same direction, and in case of second mode, so second mode, the first mass, when the first mass is moving in opposite direction, so in this case lambda equal to 159.3071. so this is mass m1, this is mass m2. So for unit displacement of mass m1, for unit displacement of mass m2, m1 will move in opposite direction with a magnitude of, so with a magnitude of 5.3723. so in this case the spring K2, so the spring K2 will be under tension, and in this case, as both the springs and as both of them are moving in the same direction, so this is, while it has a unit displacement, m1 has a displacement of 0.3723. So by using these two modes, I can write this modal matrix P. So modal matrix P equal to 0.37231, and this is equal to minus 5.37231. So now to find the principal coordinates, I can write, let the principal coordinate be y. So I can write let X equal to Py. So if I will substitute this equation in the original equation, that is mx double dot mass matrix, so that is m x double dot plus k x equal to 0 equation. So this becomes m p y double dot plus k p y equal to 0. Now pre-multiplying p transpose, I can write p transpose m p y double dot plus p transpose k p y will be equal to 0. Let us find this p transpose mp and p transpose kp. Already you have known from this orthogonality property of the modes that p dash mp and p dash kp are diagonal matrices. Now let us find p dash mp. So p dash mp will become equal to 0.37231 and this is minus 5.37231. So this transpose and m equal to 1002 and multiplied by this 0.37231 minus 5.37231. So if you multiply this, you can find this p dash mp equal to 2.138600 and 30.8616. Similarly, you can find this p transpose kp equal to 33.6004916.5. So this is p dash kp and p dash mp equal to 2.138600 30.8616. So you can find from this that both p dash mp and p dash kp are diagonal matrix. So you can write this equation in this form. So this becomes 2.138600 and this becomes 30.8616 y1 double dot y2 double dot plus this matrix 33.60 and 4916.5 into y1 y2, this becomes 00. So in this case you can see that by using this matrix or by using this coordinate y1 y2, both the mass matrix and stiffness matrix are uncoupled, that is the off diagonal terms are 0. So you can write these equation in terms of two single degree of freedom system equation, that is 2.1386 y1 double dot plus 33.6 y1 equal to 0. This is the first equation and the second equation becomes 30.8616 y2 double dot plus 49165 y2 equal to 0. So from this one can obtain this y1 and y2 by solving these two equations. You can obtain y1 and y2. So let us solve this first equation and second equation to find y1 y2. The same set of equation you can obtain by using the weighted modal matrix also. Before finding this solution of this, let us use this weighted modal matrix method. So let us find this weighted modal matrix. Already you know the weighted modal matrix is nothing but this is x1 by root over m1 and this is x2 by root over m2. The weighted modal matrix can be obtained by dividing the square root of the first mode in the first column and the square root of m2 in the second column. Already you know the P matrix and m1 and m2 we have obtained previously. So by finding this P transpose mp, this is m1 and so P transpose mp. So when we have done P transpose mp, so m1 is this 2.1386 and m2 equal to 30.8616. So m1 is 2.1386. so this is m1. So I can write this is generalized mass m1 equal to 2.1386 and generalized mass m2 equal to 30.8616. So to find this weighted model matrix, the first column of the model matrix is divided by root over m1 and the second column is divided by root over m2. So by doing that division, so P weighted model matrix one can obtain equal to 0.2546, this is 0.6838, and this becomes minus 0.9671, and this is 0.18. So now you can verify this P weighted model matrix transpose MP equal to I matrix, that is identity matrix, and P weighted model matrix KP is nothing but the lambda matrix. So that is P weighted model matrix, the first one becomes 1 0 0 1 and the second one becomes, so this is first lambda 1, that is 15.73 and 0 and 0 1 59.3. So P weighted model matrix K P weighted model matrix equal to lambda, that is 15.73, that is lambda 1. So lambda 1 0 and this is 0 lambda 2. So instead of substituting x equal to P y, if one substitute x equal to P weighted model matrix y, then the equation mx double dot plus kx equal to 0 will reduce to MP weighted model matrix y double dot plus k plus into P weighted model matrix y equal to 0. Now re-multiplying by P weighted model matrix transpose MP weighted model matrix y double dot plus P weighted model matrix KP weighted model matrix y equal to 0. So already you know that this is identity matrix, that is 0 1. So y1 y2 double dot, this is double dot plus, so this becomes 15.7, this is 0 and this is 159.3, this is y1 y2, this becomes 0 0. So you need not have to calculate this P weighted model matrix into MP weighted model matrix and K weighted model matrix KP weighted model matrix transpose KP weighted model matrix, because already you have found this lambda 1 lambda 2. So directly you can write, when you are substituting this weighted model matrix x equal to P weighted model matrix y, you can directly write this equation form in this. So after knowing this equation, so you can write, so you can see that these are also a set of uncoupled equation and you can find this y1 and y2 from this equation. So from this equation you can write this is y1 double dot plus lambda 1 y, that is okay lambda 1 y equal to 0, first equation, y1 equal to 0, and second equation becomes y2 double dot plus lambda 2 y2 equal to 0. So you can verify that in the previous case also you have obtained the same equation, that is y1 double dot. So if you divide this 33.6 by 2.1386, this is becomes your lambda 1, and here y2 double dot plus, so this 4916.5 by 30.8616, this becomes lambda 2. So this first equation becomes y1 double dot plus 15.7 y1 equal to 0, and the second equation becomes y2 double dot plus 159.3 y2 equal to 0. So using both the methods you are getting the same equation or same expressions for this y1 y2. Now you can write the solution of this. So the solution of the first equation, that is y1 double dot plus lambda 1 y1 equal to 0, you can write, so y1 equal to a1 sin omega 1, so this is lambda 1, this is omega 1 square, so this becomes omega 1 t plus psi 1, and y2 becomes a2 sin omega 2 t plus psi 2. So in this case you can obtain this a1 sin omega 1, so this omega 1 already you know, so this becomes omega 1 is 3.9637 and this omega 2 equal to 12.6214. Let us take some initial condition. Let the initial condition is that x1 0 at t equal to 0, x1 equal to 0, x2 equal to 0.025 and x1 dot 0 equal to 0 and x2 dot 0 equal to 0. So we required 4 initial conditions, 2 initial condition in displacement and 2 initial condition in terms of velocity. So by taking these 4 initial conditions, so in the previous equation I can substitute in this equation, I can obtain y1 0 equal to 0. So this, as I have substituted this, x1 equal to p into y. So when x1 equal to 0, so y1 becomes 0, and when x1 dot equal to 0, y1 dot also equal to 0. So by substituting these things I can write the equations, or I can find these coefficients a1, a2 and gamma 1, a1, a2 and psi 1, psi 2. So by substituting in the first expression you can obtain the equations in this form: 0.2546 a1 sin psi 1 minus 0.9671 a2 sin psi 2 equal to 0. Second expression you can obtain it in this form. So 0.6838 a1 sin psi 1 plus 0.18 a2 sin psi 2 equal to 0.025. So before substituting this x1 0 equal to 0, x2 0 equal to 0 and these initial conditions, one should find the expression in terms of, so this y1, y2 in terms of x1, x2. So one can substitute x equal to py. So one can write or x1 equal to, or x1 y1 equal to p weighted transpose into y, either weighted transpose, weighted modal matrix into y. So that will give you 0.2546 minus 0.9671, this is 0.6838 and this is 0.18 into y1, y2, and already y1 you got equal to a1 sin 3.96371 plus psi 1, and this becomes a2 sin 12.6214 t plus psi 2. So from this you can obtain x1 equal to 0.2546 a1 sin 3.967 t plus psi 1 minus, so this becomes this into this minus this into this, so this becomes minus 0.9671 into a2 minus 0.9671 into a2 sin 12.6214 t plus psi 2. So this is the expression for x1, and similarly x2 equal to, x2 can be obtained from this equation x1. So this is x1 x2. So x2 will becomes x2 equal to 0.6838 into a1 sin 3.9637 plus psi 1 plus 0.18 a2 into this. So this thing can be written. So this is 0.6838 a1 sin 3.9637 t plus psi 1 plus 0.18 a2 sin 12.6214 t plus psi 2. As the initial conditions are given, x1 at t equal to 0 equal to 0 and x2 t equal to 0 equal to 0.025 and x1 dot equal to 0, x1 dot t equal to 0 equal to 0 and x2 dot 0 equal to 0. So by substituting in this x2 and previous x1 expression, one can obtain these constants a1, a2, psi1 and psi2. So one obtains psi1 equal to psi2 equal to 90 degree and a1 equal to 0.0342 and a2 equal to 0.0090. So one can write the expression for x1, x2 in terms of a1, a2, psi1, psi2. So a1 is given by 0.0342 and a2 is given by 0.0090. So in this way one can obtain the response of the system by using this modal analysis method, and one can obtain the principal coordinates which uncouple the equation motion. So let us see the case of a force vibration. Let us take the same system when it is subjected to a force vibration. Let us find the response of the system. So in the same system, mass, this is mass m1, m2 and this is spring k1 and this is spring k2. Let the mass m2 is subjected to a force F sin omega t, where F equal to, let me take F equal to 1, and I can take the same mass and stiffness property of the system. So if I will take the same mass and stiffness property of the system, I can write this equation motion by using the Lagrange principle. So by using Lagrange principle, I can write the kinetic energy of the system equal to half m1 x1 dot square plus half m2 x2 dot square, and potential energy U equal to half k x1 square plus half k2 x1 minus x2 square. Similarly, the work done I can write equal to the displacement into this force. So by using the Lagrange principle, I can find the equation motion which can be written in this form. So this will be m0 m1 0 0 m2 plus into x1 double dot x2 double dot plus k1 plus k2 minus k2 minus k2, this is k2 into x1 x2. So this will be equal to the force. So this becomes 0 and this becomes F sin omega t. So by writing this equation motion, you can see in the previous case the forcing term was 0, now the forcing term becomes 0 F sin omega t. So previously I told you how to determine the response of the system. Now using this modal matrix method also we can determine that. Already we have found the modal matrix for the system. Modal matrix can be obtained from the free vibration response of the system which you have obtained before, and this modal matrix P you have obtained before, that is equal to 0.3723, this is 1, and this becomes minus 5.3723 and this is 1. So this is the modal matrix. So by using the modal matrix or weighted modal matrix also you can take. So this becomes, so already you have found the weighted modal matrix, this is equal to 0.2546, 0.6838 minus 0.9671 and this becomes 0.18. So either you can use this modal matrix or this weighted modal matrix to reduce this equation, reduce this previous equation to a set of uncoupled equation. Now using this weighted modal matrix I can write this equation m x double dot plus k x equal to f in this case. So I can write, substituting this x equal to p weighted modal matrix y, I can write this equation m p weighted modal matrix y double dot plus k p weighted modal matrix y equal to f. Now pre-multiplying weighted modal matrix transpose m p x double dot plus weighted modal matrix k p so this is y, so this is y double dot x, I am substituting by y, so this is y double dot, so plus this is y double dot, so this becomes P weighted modal matrix into F. So already from the property of this weighted modal matrix, you know this becomes unity matrix or identity matrix, so this becomes 1 0 0 1 into y1 double dot y2 double dot plus this becomes lambda 1 15.7 and this is 0 0 and this is 159.3 y1 y2 this becomes P weighted transpose into F. So if I will multiply this thing, so this becomes minus 0.9671 sin omega t. I have taken F equal to 1, so this becomes minus 0.9671, so F sin omega t. So this is F matrix, F vector, this F is the F vector, so minus 0.9671 sin omega t and this becomes 0.18 sin omega t. So you can obtain two uncoupled equation. So these uncoupled equations can be written in this form, that is equal to y1 double dot plus 15.6927y equal to minus 0.9671 sin omega t, and the second equation becomes y2 double dot plus 159.3 y equal to 0.18 sin omega t. So you can solve these two equations. So for solving the first equation, it has both complementary part and the particular integral. So you can write this y1 equal to complementary part becomes a1 sin 3.9637 t plus I1 plus for the particular integral this becomes 0.9671 sin omega t by root over, so this becomes d square minus 15.69, so d square, for d square you can substitute this minus omega square, so this becomes minus 0.9671 sin omega t by 15.6927 by omega square. Similarly y2 becomes a2 sin 12.6214 t plus I2 plus 0.18 sin omega t by 159.3 minus omega square. So these are the expression for y1 and y2. Now for a particular value of omega, let omega equal to 2 radian per second. So if omega equal to 2 radian per second, then this particular integral part becomes 0.9671 by 15.6927 minus 4, that is 11.6927, and here in the second mode it becomes 154.3, so 0.18 sin omega t sin 2t by 154.3. So in this way you can find the response of the force vibration system. So if you have a system with damping, let us take a system with damping, same system with damping. So in this case, so this is the spring and let me use the damper, this is the second mass, and again I can put this force F2 also. So let the force is acting on mass M2. So in this case also you can write the equation motion in this form. So this becomes M1 0 0 M2 x1 double dot x2 double dot plus C1. So let this is C1, this is C2, this is K1, this is K2. So this becomes C1 plus C2 minus C2 minus C2 C2 x1 dot x2 dot plus K1 plus K2 minus K2, this is minus K2 and this is K2 into x1 x2, this becomes 0 no force is acting on mass 1, so this force term becomes 0, and as a force F sin omega t is acting on mass 2, so this becomes F sin omega t. So in this case, this stiffness matrix is K1 plus K2 minus K2, this becomes minus K2 minus K2 stiffness matrix, and this is the mass matrix, and this is the damping matrix. So this damping matrix, if it is not symmetric, in this case it is symmetric. If it is not symmetric, then you cannot find a coupled equation. Uncoupled equation, you cannot find the uncoupled equation, but in this case you can find an uncoupled equation by using the modal matrix. So by using the modal matrix or weighted modal matrix, so let you use the modal matrix X equal to Py. So if you substitute that in that expression, then this equation will reduce to P transpose M P y double dot plus P transpose C P y dot plus P transpose K P y equal to P transpose F. So if this is symmetric matrix, then it will reduce to that of a diagonal matrix, but if it is not symmetric matrix, then you can write this matrix P transpose Cp matrix as alpha of P transpose Mp plus beta part of P transpose Kp, or the C matrix you can write alpha M plus beta K. So by writing C equal to alpha M plus beta K, you can reduce this equation to that of a diagonal form, and you can find the response of the system. So in this case, let me take C1 equal to 40 and C2 equal to 20. So 20 Newton second for meter, 40 Newton second for meter. So then the C1 C matrix will reduce to 60 minus 20 minus 20 20. So in this case you can find this P dash Cp will be equal to 0.0134, this becomes 0 and this becomes 1.966, so into 10 to the power 3. So in this case you can see that this P dash Cp is a diagonal matrix, so you need not have to convert it to that proportional form, and you can write this equation in this form. So it will reduce to y double dot plus 2 zeta omega n y dot plus omega n square equal to f sin omega t. So it will reduce to this form. So as it is reducing to this form, you can write this y1 equal to e to the power minus zeta 1 omega 1 t to a1 cos omega dt plus b1 sin omega dt. This way you can write, and similarly y2 you can write equal to 1 minus zeta 2 omega t into a2 cos omega dt plus omega dt1. So this is omega dt2, so this is omega dt1 plus this becomes b1, this becomes b2 sin omega dt2 t. So where omega d1 becomes 1 minus zeta 1 square, so and omega dt2 becomes root over this is into omega 1, and this is 1 minus zeta 2 square into omega 2. So in this way you can find the response of the system. So this is free vibration response. So this is the complementary part of the response and the particular integral part. So these y1 and y2 are the complementary part, and you can find the particular integral part also, p1 and p2. So here p1, already you know your p1 will be equal to f0 by k root over 1 minus r1 square whole square plus 2 zeta 1 omega 1 2 zeta r whole square, and P2 will becomes f by, so this becomes f1 by k, f1 by k1, so this becomes f2 by k2 root over 1 minus r2 square whole square plus 2 zeta 2 r2 whole square, where this k1 and k2, k1 will becomes, so k1 by m1 equal to omega 1 square and k2 by m2 equal to omega 2 square, where omega 1 square already you have found, that is equal to lambda 1, that is equal to 15.7, and omega 2 square, that is equal to 159.3. So from this you can find this r1 equal to omega by omega 1 and r2 equal to omega by omega 2. So in this way you can find the response of a forced vibration response with a system with damping and without damping. Also you can find for the system response when the damping is proportional and when it is not proportional also. So when it is not proportional, then the C matrix you can write equal to alpha m plus beta k, and you can find the response of the system. So let us see one example for this normal mode summation method. Normal mode summation. So already in the last class it is told that you can use this normal mode summation method when you do not require to find the response for all the modes of the system. So a example was given that time. So let us take a multi-storied building. So this is a multi-storied building. Let us take a 10-storied building when it is subjected to an earthquake, or it is subjected to an excitation at base excitation, or from the support there is some excitation, and these excitations are, let us assume that it is limited to the first 3 mode frequencies only. So in this case one can write the equation motion using this mass matrix. So this mass matrix, if it is a 10-story buildings, then it is 10 is to 10. So m x double dot plus k x equal to, so k x plus one can write the C matrix also, C x dot equal to F matrix. So in this case this m equal to 10 is to 10, k also equals to 10 is to 10, and C also is a 10 is to 10 matrix, and this k f, that this forcing is a 10 is to 1 vector. So one can find this modal matrix P. So modal matrix P can be found from this eigenvalue of eigenvector of m inverse k. So if A equal to m inverse k, so one can obtain 10 eigenvalues and corresponding eigenvectors. So those 10 vectors can be written as phi 1, phi 2, phi 1, phi 2 and phi 10. So as it is known that the frequencies of this external frequencies of these systems are limited to first 3 modes. So instead of taking these 10 modes, one can take the first 3 modes and write this P matrix. So this P matrix one can write equal to phi 1, phi 2, phi 3. So this phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 are the first 3 mode frequency, first 3 modal frequency. Now by using x equal to py, so where y will be, so p equal to phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, p is a 10 is to 3 matrix, so 10 rows and 3 columns. So one can take this y equal to, so y will be a 3 is to 1 vector. So only we can take the first 3 frequencies or first 3 modes, and I can substitute this x equal to py. So by substituting x equal to py in this expression m, so m p y double dot plus k p y plus Cpy dot equal to F. Now I can write by pre-multiplying P transpose MP y double dot plus P transpose KPy plus P transpose Cpy dot equal to P transpose F. So now you can check that this P transpose MP is a diagonal vector of 3:3. So P is 10:3, so P transpose will be 3:10. So this becomes 3:10 and M is a 10:10 and this P is 10:3. So this becomes 3:3 matrix. Similarly, P transpose Kp is a 3:3 and this also 3:3. So now you can obtain a set of equations, equations which are diagonal. So these diagonal equations are, it can be written y1 double dot plus 2 zeta omega 1 y1 plus omega 1 square equal to f1. Similarly, y2 double dot plus 2 zeta 2 omega 2 y2 plus omega 2 square equal to f2, and y3 double dot plus 2 zeta 3 omega 3 y3 plus omega 3 square, this is y1, this is y2 and this is y3 equal to f3. So the solution, so you can solve these three equations easily to find the response of the system. So instead of carrying out a solution of 10:10 matrix, you can reduce that thing to a 3:3 matrix and you can solve these equations to find the response of the system. So after finding this y1, you can obtain this x equal to py and you can obtain the response of the system. So in this way you can solve the problems of a multi-degree of freedom system by using this normal mode summation method. So in this multi-degree of freedom systems, we know how to find the equation motion of the systems, also how to find the response of the system by using modal matrix method. So we have solved the modal, so we have found the modal matrix, or we have used this modal matrix method for free and force vibration of the system, and we have used this normal mode summation method to find the response of a system when a multi-degree of freedom system, or when the system degrees of freedom is very high. So by using this normal mode summation method, you can reduce a multi-degree of freedom system or a very high degree of freedom system to a very low order systems, and you can solve the response of the system very easily. So in the next class we will see different approximate method to find the natural frequency of a multi-degree of freedom system.